Court is calling 2023 CR 3144, State of Texas versus Mr. Gore. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Charles
Defense.
Bunt for Mr. Gore.
And how do you pronounce your first name?
Ajay.
Ajay. All right. That's why I can't get that name right. The letters are, but I'm going to remember it. Ajay Gore. Are you Ajay Gore?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Gore, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, and we don't object to their motion to reduce it to the lesser included misdemeanor offensive assault causing bodily injury of a family member.
We do have that motion on.
All right. Going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand the state has reduced your offense to assault, bodily injury, family, household? That's Class A misdemeanor. Range of punishment is up to a $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishments be assessed as 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. State recommends community supervision. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no harmful or injurious contact with the. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea? State?
Your Honor, we have the state's exhibit.
No, is that the plea?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
yes,
good.
I'm sorry.
Defense?
Yes.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 1 year. There be a TAP evaluation, anger management, and parenting classes. If you all could initial there, please. Did you understand that those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offense of assault, bodily injury, family, household as a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, we have the state's exhibit number 1 and all attached.
No objections.
Mr. Gore, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, we believe he's worthy of the plea bargain. We ask you to follow it regarding the classes that are requested by the state. He's already completed 2 different parenting classes through CPS and an anger management class through CPS
All right.
and has been granted, he has been reunified with the child that is involved in this.
All right. And is that correct, state?
As far as I know, yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Gore, what have you learned from your parenting classes?
I know one thing, about it's a different time and age, about how to, handle kids. And I know one of the biggest things that I learned for this, which I've been telling a lot of guys is, at the end of the day, the other parent, that's who it is. And y'all got to come to an agreement for the kid in order to, basically co-parenting. It's not, you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for the kid. And that's something that I've been working on and it's been helping.
All right. People say that they realize that times have changed. And it's not so much that times have changed with parenting. It's just that people have learned better ways. And if you have a punishment for a child and the punishment is to clean the baseboards, then that's the punishment. Physical discipline rarely works. The only thing that physical discipline really teaches people is that might makes right. And I always tell people, when you are hitting on a child, to correct them. Guess what? If that wasn't a child and wasn't your child, if that was just some adult on the street and they didn't do what you told them to do and you hit on them, you'd be in court for that. People assume that children don't have any rights, and technically they don't, but children are not property. And for some reason, people tend to want to teach their children and keep them as property. They're human beings. And they don't learn anything from you beating on them. Throughout my entire childhood, my mom would always sit down and just have a discussion about what you did wrong. In my entire childhood, I only got one spanking, and it was well-deserved because I almost put my brother's eye out for doing something foolish that made no sense. And looking back on it, I'm like, Stephanie, why did you do that?
I don't think you did.
Why were you riding a bicycle in the house? That made no sense whatsoever. But I say that to say, you don't teach children anything by hitting on them. The only thing you taught them really is, all right, when I have a child, I need to hit on them too. And some parents think fear is the best way to parent a child. And really it's not. And all this was over not buying a book at the book fair and instead buying candy. It happens. That's what children do. All right. 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for 1 year. Affirmative finding of family violence, no harmful or injurious contact with Lashandwa Gore, LASHAWNDA. There'll be parenting classes and anger management. If he has completed that through CPS, then that will be acceptable. There's to be 80 hours of community service restitution, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular UAs, regular reporting by Zoom or in person. And we'll do a field visit 1 time per month for 3 months. If everything appears to be going well, then probation, you can do field visits as you deem necessary. And they want a TAP evaluation, so we'll do a TAP evaluation. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, could I see that file one more time? Because I don't believe I said that on the record. There is an affirmative finding of family violence. All right, we can go off the record. You want children to love you, because guess what? They'll come to you with whatever problems they have, or if they've done something wrong, they'll come to you. But if they're afraid of you, they're not going to come to you. You understand? I come to my mom for everything. She knows every single thing about my life. Charles can tell you that.
Very true.
All right. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.